Hello and welcome again to another episode of One Starfish, where our mission is to help change the world one starfish or one person at a time. As always, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, share. That's how we get the word about what we do. Excited for a guest today. Earl and I just met. He's out of Oklahoma right now. Him and his wife have 6 kids together. They run a business together, which he started in 2018, but he's been an entrepreneur since he was 18. I mean, that was only a few years ago. And he's learned from failure, learned from a lot of different stuff. Thanks for being on the show today, Earl.
Hey, thank you so much, Angela, for having me. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Let's go way back to 18. What were you raised in an entrepreneurial family? What caused you to be an entrepreneur at 18? That's pretty young.
Right. Well, somewhat, yeah. My dad, he always had his own business. He's always doing something. We framed houses. That's how I kind of grew up framing houses, carpenter, all that. But if we wasn't doing that, we were outside building cedar chests. Had a shop and build cedar chests. Or we're cutting firewood. Or we're doing something. That's kind of how it started. And we worked with my dad, and we was partners a little bit when I got out of high school at 17, and didn't quite work out. So I started my own framing business when I was 18, and kind of went from there. And I've tried multiple things. So to me, an entrepreneur is having several businesses. I've had a nutrition store. I've had a tire shop. I've had a skateboard store. Different things. So that's how I started. And I like, for me, it's time. That's the reason for me. A lot of times having your own business, it's the time you have you can prioritize where your time goes. I remember I was the only one at my kids' ball game sometimes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I'm the only one that could take off to do those kind of things.
Right.
So for me, it's just, I've always liked running my own show. I'll put it that away.
That makes sense. What were some of the early hiccups that you had to deal with when you started back at, like I said, let's say 18 to 25?
When you start making good money, how to handle it. Because my father, he was definitely one who made good money, but he showed you how to spend the money just as fast. I was never shown any kind of discipline when I was younger. So therefore, you make a few grand a week, you know how to spend a few grand a week and live, that stuff right there. So that's the first thing is understanding how money works in a business. That was the first thing. How to handle employees or workers. A lot of them were good friends of mine out of high school. And for the most part, it was actually pretty good. It was learning how to separate those things, how to control, guys and gals, how at the workplace and do those things as you go along and building. I was a person for the longest time. To me, this is a big one. Is I thought I could do everything by myself. I didn't need nobody else. And so, as far as building the network that we all do now, that's something when I was younger. I didn't need that. I don't need that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, yeah, if I knew that way back then, to tell my past self, it'd be like, hey, you get around people that's better than you, that know more than you do, learn from them, and that will get you so much further in life.
That's so true. So what were some of the things, or what are some tips you would tell people on if they are making good money already to implement?
Okay, definitely live below your means. Just because you're making 5,000 a week, don't mean you got go get a new, bigger house, bigger car, better car, all that stuff like everybody wants to do. Definitely live below your means and invest as much as you can at a younger age. It's one of those things where the sooner you start investing at a young age, when you get to my age and older, then you ain't got to worry about anything. The later you start investing in life is one of those things. I feel like I'm always like I feel like I'm trying to do catch up.
Right.
I'm trying to, okay, I got to get this here because I don't want to. I'm 53 now, so when I'm 53, so when I'm 60, 65, I'm like, man, I really got to get it because I waited till I was like 35 to start this stuff. Now, the life I want to live to retire, my vision board and all my stuff, these things I got to make happen, here. So early you start, that end can be a whole lot better for you.
That's good. I like that. And I'd say and I'm curious what your thoughts are because I'm in the financial industry, so it's a big thing, but I've also been a diehard saver my whole life. So, what are your thoughts of a lot of people, and I'm curious, I don't even know where you're going to say with this, but when people are like, okay, I mean, 5,000 a week is pretty good money for most people. So if they're listening to this, they're like, oh yeah, that's no problem. I'll save then too. But what if they're making 500 a week? What if they're making 1,000 a week? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's always ways to cut something out. Always priorities. Think about your priorities. Instead of going buy, okay, kind of common. Instead of going buying a coffee at Starbucks or anywhere, make coffee at home. That's $7 a day right there. Put $10 back a week. Put $5, something, just to start that ritual, that habit of doing this.
Yes.
Just start a little bit. Just start there. And then once, for me, now it's got where it first was like, man, okay, I'm doing this, but then you start seeing how much you're accumulating, and then it starts almost coming a game. Like, okay, you know what? If I don't go out to eat during the week, I go out to eat to dinner one time a week. That's an extra, say, $40 I can put in here. Now, boom, I got 1,000, I got 2,000, and it starts becoming a game of how much you can stash away to do with. And so that's where it kind of flips on you to where, dang it, I really got, I want to spend this money, but you don't. And then it comes like, okay, I'm glad. What's the very popular thing is pain of regret. It's discipline, or pain of discipline or pain of regret. One of the two. You can do without for a while, you have what you want later, or don't ever really get what you want, and then you have regret.
I love that. Rewind that, guys. And if you're not saving, save $5 a week. Like I said, there's something I'm pretty passionate about. It's a mindset. It's not a money set. So if you're
Correct.
not saving, you're not going to save when you make 5,000. When you make 500,000, you're not going to save. It's a mindset, or give back, or charity, or any of those things need to be done at all points. Whether it's $1, whether it's $5, doesn't matter. It's something on a regular basis. So yes, I'm glad you touched on that. That's so cool.
It is definitely a mindset. I like that. It's a mindset because, like you just said a while ago, you mentioned it goes, well, when I start making this money, I'll start. No,
always. I hear people all the time. I'm like, we need to start savings. They're like, well, once I get out of debt, well, I'm like, it's never going to happen with that mindset. Like, correct. It's like, I could give you $1 million. And why are most people that win the lottery bankrupt within 7 years? Because it's not a money set, it's a mindset. So, people always blame that. So I'm glad you touched on that.
It took me a hard lesson to understand that. It really did. I had to file bankruptcy, all kind of stuff.
You really went down the road.
About 6 years after I started anything. I mean, again, I didn't have any idea about any of this stuff. Right. I really didn't. It's kind of one of those things where, again, wasn't taught that. I didn't really go look for anything. You don't know what you don't know.
Right. That's exactly it.
It's okay. But then once you're aware of it, then now that's the time you got to start making those decisions. So that's it. So just definitely learn.
So now you listen to this,
There you go. Exactly. If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. Now you can't say I didn't know.
Right.
Oh man, I just didn't do it, but I didn't know. All right. So then you went on into I guess older life from like 25 onward. You mentioned, you failed quite a bit. Tell us a little bit about failure and what your thoughts are about it. And maybe give some examples, because they're always fun.
Okay. Sure. Failure is something that, you hear a lot of people, they're so afraid.
You mentioned bankruptcy, so there sounds like something.
Right. Yes, definitely failure. I use working out. I work out all the time. It's muscles. If you want to grow in anything you do, running, lifting weights, muscles, you go to failure to break those muscles down to grow bigger. So that's kind of an easy way to look at it is, that's what you do anyway to work out. So why not do the same thing? Because you don't know what you don't know. You tried this. You have the guts. You have the courage to go do this. That didn't work. Okay, why didn't it work? You figure it out, and then you progress on. As far as business, I'm 99.9% of all successful people, they've been through it. This whole get rich quick things. No, that's not. You don't see all the practices, the late nights. I say practice, but you're working behind the scenes. You're working on your speech. You're doing your talks. You're watching videos on how to do a certain job or whatever it may be. You don't see all that stuff. That's what I call practice. I could compare things to sports, but don't be afraid to fail. That's the only way to learn. You can listen, to a lot of things. I use our construction quite a bit for our guys and gals. In this day and age with Google and YouTube and all that, you can watch videos on how to do certain jobs. You can watch how to wire a ceiling fan. Oh, the blue wire goes with the black one. They got that. But when it comes to texture, when it comes to tile and things, until you put that trowel in that mud, you put it on that wall, you don't know how. You can watch all you want on that, but until you feel it, you have no idea. So you got to get in there and mess with it. That don't look good. Well, I failed at that. Let's do it this way now. I'll have to do it this way. So don't be afraid to fail. Get in and get after it. Definitely bankruptcy was one of those things that right there. Other business I tried, I thought I had some ideas. I had a business partner once that didn't come up with his part like he was supposed to. The time was all said and done, I said, I'm shutting the doors. He said, no, we can't. I said, oh, we are, because you're not putting nothing in. So I failed at finding the right business partner. Um, ideas that I thought was going to be awesome and did some research on, they weren't as awesome as I thought. So, the skateboard store, that was awesome. It was great. It was so cool. But I wasn't making no money at it. Here in Oklahoma, it was okay. It about paid the bills. That's about it. And
Which is
for
not
about a
bad.
year, and a half, that was about it. About paid the bills. That was about it. And a lot of fun. But just it wasn't a thing for here, So that's some of my failures. And of course, been divorced. That was a failure. Uh, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I mean, I've lost weight, I've gained weight, you know, eat too much candy on Christmas, things like that. Too many sweets and stuff. So 75 hard is the thing we talked about, part RJ, part Andy and stuff. And 75 hard. I mean, luckily for me, I've done it twice and I've finished twice. I never missed a day on that. So I've completed those. But I'm not quite ready to do the whole live hard thing
Live
yet.
hard,
I'm
I was
not
just
quite
gonna
there.
ask.
I can do the cold showers. I can do that stuff. But there's some other stuff and I'm not ready for that yet. No, I can't. I'm not ready for that yet. So, but that's some of the stuff I failed at.
There you go. What do you think stops people from being willing to fail?
What people think of them, I think is the biggest deal.
Ego.
Once people understand, and when you're younger, it's harder. I feel for the most part. The older you get, where you truly understand that people really don't care what you do about you or anything really. Even your close friends, you can tell them you're going through something, and there for a day or two something happens, and then after that, it's all kind of back to normal, and they
They're
don't
their
ask
own
no more.
problems.
Yep, they got their own problems going on. So once you understand that right there, it doesn't matter. Then that helps a lot with that. Is taking that chance of messing up and going back at it. Because for me, the things I've been through in my life, I'm still here rocking and rolling. I woke up this morning blessed. Another day. My eyes opened up. So therefore, once you figure those little things out, what to be grateful for, then it helps your mindset and your heart and everything to take those chances to do. Because hey, I'm still here. So I'm still here.
That's the main thing. I love that. So I had a mindset. I was just listening to you and I'm like, no, I lost my mind on that.
Oh.
But as you went from one business to different businesses, you also mentioned associations were really important at the beginning. Do you want to touch on that and like what you learned from not having the right associations? And then like people are always like, I don't want to cut people out of our life and da 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 da. Touch
Right.
on some of that mindset.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I was younger, like I said, I didn't really want. I could do it by myself. That limits you in what you can do. Just business by itself. You can only do so much. You're one person. You can only put your hands on 24 hours in a day, so on. So, but you limit yourself on who you know or what you know as well. And you start bringing associations of other people in, then you get that connection, and then somewhat the right people is part of the deal as well to me. And now I'm definitely, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, that's a problem. I try to surround myself with people way more successful than I am, smarter, everything to help lift me up. So therefore, it pulls me up, it helps hold me accountable, and those things. So once you find those people, it helps hold you accountable. Like, well, man, I don't want to let Clay down. Angela, she probably don't like me, this chocolate and everything. You might limit that stuff back. You know what I'm saying? She'll okay, I won't do this. And then you never know, like for the construction we have right now, they start sending you business, you send them business, and therefore that's how things grow and go from there. And just it lifts yourself up to a whole other level that you never thought you could be at.
What
It happens all the time.
Did you ever go through, as you started your transition, your friend group, I guess you could say, because I know this is what a lot of people struggle with or think about. They're like, well, I don't want to like lose the friends I used to have, or like, I don't want to hurt my family or whatever. I hear all those things. What are your thoughts on that? And, did you go through that at a period, or did it just kind of like osmosis happen?
Sure. No, we definitely kind of, like we talked about a while ago, being aware of something. Because once we're aware of these people are toxic to us, to our business, to our life, we started cutting people out. I mean, we totally just dropped several people because we want to make a change, and they didn't they didn't want to make change. They want to pull you back the other way. And like now I'm getting rid of them. Let's get rid of them. Other ones, like you mentioned family members. I got like a brother of mine. I associate, but I keep it kind of distant
Right,
because there's
limit.
things we don't agree on and stuff, and things are done. So I just keep that kind of distant. So there's ways you can. Ed's got a great podcast on this actually, but about you can definitely not really cut everybody out. Let's do something major toxic for you, but just kind of keep a distance. Don't you ain't got to see them every day. You ain't got to call them, text them every day. Just every great once in a while. I'll see them at a family function, something like that. We talk occasionally, and to keep things that away. So some, yes, and then the ones that you do know, that are helping you, that are true, won't be true to help, that are backing what you're about and what you believe in. Those are the ones you definitely want to always reach out to.
Put the effort in.
Always put the effort in to make sure those places go. I do this, like I mentioned Clay will go. He's one of my best friends. He lives in Austin, Texas. Very successful man. And him and Ron stuff. And I make sure I keep those ties, how we doing, what's going on. We talked yesterday for quite a while, just all started Merry Christmas. And then it got on when we talk about the future and what's going on. That's what we talk about. We don't talk about the past. The past don't do no good. That's back there. It's okay to, I use this before and I've heard it is the past and the future, for instance, that's why you look at a car, you got a windshield and you got a rear view mirror. That's why the rear view mirror is so small. It's okay to look up there occasionally to see what happened, but you look back down here at the big picture, the big window to see where you're going, where your future is.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, who are you hanging out with there? That's really important to
definitely
to go through. So on the days, I mean, obviously over the last however many years, 5 years of entrepreneurship, a lot longer than that. Obviously there's been days you haven't felt like getting up, or like when you did 75 hard, or days you did not feel like that. I know that. So what do you do on the days when things are going good? Like people are like, that's easy. When things aren't going good, you're not feeling well, your family, you went through a divorce, said your family's literally falling apart, you went through a bankruptcy, you're going through hard times. How do you get out of bed and do the work when you don't feel like it?
For me, it's figure out a why. That's one thing. And priorities, like I say, and where you want to be. Okay. We'll use like the 75 hard. No, it's not a fitness thing, but it is a fitness thing in a way. Is how do I want to look? Okay. If I don't go work out, I'm not going to achieve that goal. So it'll get me closer to that goal. The food you take in. I don't, like I said, 75 hard, one workout's got to be outside. In Oklahoma up here, one day it's 80, next day it's 30, just like the last one. It was pouring down rain and cold, but I had to go outside. So I just sucked it up, and for 45 minutes, went for a little jog walk outside and soaking wet when I got back. But I accomplished that goal. And then when once you're done with it, you feel better about yourself. It's just having a why you're doing the things you're doing, whether it's working out or building a business, relationship, whatever, find that why. And that's the purpose to drive you to that point is put something out there, goal, whatever it may be, that right there. And that's going to pull you to that. Not drag you, it's going to pull you. Therefore, you're doing what you need to do to get to that goal. And then you have to do this. You got to do it. There's no, if you got kids, for instance, that are depending on you, you got a thing you talked about people are not afraid to die, but they're really afraid to live. And that's so true. People are afraid to live. You got to figure the reasons why you can get in and get after it.
That's cool. Okay, I've got to ask. So you got a picture behind you. Anyone on YouTube, you'll see this. Anyone on podcast, check out YouTube. So he's got a picture behind him of a lion and a gorilla head cut down the middle with a crown on top. It's kind of intriguing. Tell me about it.
Every person asks me. We moved to a new office, so I don't have it all set up yet. Because I got a sword and I got an axe as well. Okay. The lion represents the leader. Okay. The gorilla represents the warrior. Is being being husband, owner of a business and all that. Being an owner of a business, okay, you got to be a leader and get things done. Show how to lead the company and to do these things. But there's also times you got to be the warrior and you got to get in and do the dirty work when people don't want to. You got to get in there and get after it and go with it. And because we just moved offices, like I said, and then over here I got leader on the other side of the line with the sword hanging, and then I got the warrior over here with an axe hanging down. And that's kind of my thought about it. And I love that part about it because I'm not afraid to do one single thing that I'm asking one of my men and women to do in this business. I will get in there and do whatever it takes to get it done. That's the warrior part. Leaders, you got the vision and the guidance to move your kingdom and your castle, your business, these things. That's the leader part of it. But then the warrior part is you got to come back in sometimes and get rid of that person you didn't want to get rid of. You go take care of a job or go deal with a situation, where nobody else wants to go do it. That's kind of where I got that from. I got it from Inky Johnson's where I got this from.
Okay.
He had it on Instagram. I seen this like several years ago, and I'm like, and I DM'd him. I said, "Hey, I love this. It really resonates with me. Is it okay if I use this?" And he said, "Hey man, hey, it's just a picture. Do what you want to do. It's all good." So I'm like, okay, I didn't want to just try to take something, So I definitely say where I got it from. I've had this, and I'm working on some other things along with that.
Oh,
so,
cool. Well, it's
yeah.
a cool picture. I love that. All right. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. So, we've talked about failure and working through that. I'm curious, what about success? What are some roadblocks or things that you have found as you become actually successful that are easy to fall into or difficult situations?
Okay. That's a good question. Good question. I think habits, once you develop the habits of things, that's what makes people more successful is you develop, you're doing the things that people won't do.
Well, what do you find as you become more successful that maybe aren't as easy to do or it's easy to fall away from? Like what becomes temptations or problems with success?
Okay. Well, it is one of those things once you do starting to, money's coming in, relationship's going well, kind of backing off a little bit. Kind of goes back to talking to the people surround yourself with. Is you definitely want to, I'll do it tomorrow. Start putting things off. That's where the success part kind of can get in your head, thinking you're all this, and really you're not. You're still down here.
Successful compared to what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm more successful than I was, a few years ago. And now to the point where I keep that in mind where, well, and because of my past and how I've lost things, like I don't want to do that again. So I'm a person say I'm not afraid of anything, but I guess maybe that is a fear I have because I don't want to go back to that point. Yes, I made it through and I'm grateful, but I don't want to go back to that spot. So that's one of the things right there is use fear maybe or a lot of people use fear as that because they're afraid of those situations. Right. They don't want to be back down here. They want to make sure they stay up here. So you do what needs to be done. Kind of back to the other question about things you don't want to do. Is that right there as far as success is concerned, and you understand the habits, what you built that got you successful, and you stack on top of that. The reason I got here was because of I got better at selling, or I got better at speaking, I got better at dealing with situations. So once you understand that, and you start stacking on that to improve that, and then for me, I try to surround myself with smarter people. My wife, she's a partner business, she handles things that I can't stand to do, and I suck at, and I'm bad at it. I am not a very, how do you say it? I'm not I hate paperwork. Can't stand paperwork. Man, she has that stuff all dialed in and everything about it. For me, she thinks my stuff's chaos and chaotic and stuff. But I know where my stuff is. But when it comes to little detail stuff, I am not the detail person. That's her. Ladies in the office, they handle things that I don't like to handle, and they help me. They put stuff on my calendar for me to get things done. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do it. Back to that part. I'll do it tomorrow. No. Another thing there is put people around you to help push you there. Like Henry Ford, he always surrounds himself with smart people. He had an idea, you figure it out. And so, yeah.
Surround yourself with people that push you. You don't have that tendency to want to step back. Right. I think what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I've reached here and I'm stepping back, and then they go way back.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to get. It's harder to keep success than to get to success.
It is because one day turns into 1 week, and this, I'll do it next day, and this thing, it's next week, and it's next year, and what happened?
Yeah, and then everything you just built just came crashing down like a deck of cards.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you hang around with people that are pushing you, I agree with that. That's really awesome. Okay, very great. Well, I always wrap up with 3 final questions, and then anything we didn't touch on that you think would be really impactful for our listeners. Okay. So first and final question. What's one sentence you could say that could help someone find their purpose?
What's one sentence? I say a lot of things.
Uh-huh.
I'll say a lot of things. I'll say a lot of things when it comes to this kind of stuff. Um, Research what's in your heart. What are you passionate about?
Mm-hmm. Be passionate about. That's good. Second and final question. What's a favorite quote and why?
Favorite quote and why? Um, I'm. I think this helped me get through situations and to be grateful for things. I'm gonna say something I came up with. I guess is the good times wouldn't be so good if the bad times wasn't so bad.
I
So
like that.
once you understand that the reason it's good because the reason it feels good now because you know what it's like to feel bad.
Right.
And like,
Didn't have
man,
that point
okay,
of reference.
yeah, kind of that right there. That's what I'd say to myself all the time.
Good times wouldn't feel so good if the bad times didn't feel so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel so good. You're like, it's no big deal. Oh no, this actually does feel pretty good because I remember how this felt. So.
That's so good. That's so true too. Third and final question. What's one word or sentence you want on your gravestone?
Live life to the fullest.
Good. All right. You run into someone in a coffee shop. They've learned about failure. They've learned about success.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. What's something we didn't touch on today that you think would be really impactful to leave our listeners with?
What I talk to people about is just don't be afraid to go out and do what you want to do in life. Don't be afraid what people's going to think about it. Don't let whoever's told you before. Don't do it. Family's the worst. They care about you and all that. It's one of those things. Well, I just want to make sure you're okay. If there's something you want to go do, if you want to sing, if you want to art, if you want whatever, no matter what it is, if you something you want to go do it. Don't let anybody tell you different. Step out there and do it.
I love that. Guys, make sure to rate, review, share. That's how we get the word about what we do. If we go out there and change one life or one starfish at a time, together, we can change the world. Thanks for being on, Earl.
Thank you so much.